Welcome back to the channel, my freedom loving 2A supporting patriots, for another Sunday Thoughts episode. Before I get into this one, real quick, I just wanted to say congratulations to both the Main Man channel and N.E.PA Guntalk. Both of them just recently hit 1,000 subscribers. So congratulations to you guys. It's a big milestone. And keep up the good work. And help keep supporting each other, you guys. So, as you've all heard and know about the George Floyd murder, where he was murdered by that cop in Minnesota, it's just horrific what happened. It's terrible. There's just no excuse for what happened. Completely unnecessary. And that's probably about as much as I'll touch on that in this video. It's just horrific. So, kind of my thoughts on what's going on in the whole thing would be the protests, I believe are completely called for, and that'd be peaceful protests. And they, it's something that should happen. What happened to him was horrible. As far as people out rioting and looting and burning businesses down and stealing from them, how does that make sense for anyone? So, a man was murdered, so you feel the appropriate response is to go out and burn people's businesses down and steal from them. It just pisses me off to no end. It makes absolutely no sense, especially with the whole COVID thing going right now. Like, businesses aren't having enough trouble already trying to survive as it is, so we're gonna go out and destroy our communities over this. So I'm out here in Kansas right now helping Grandma out, but I live in Denver, and there's been lots of protesting and rioting in Denver. Currently they have an 8 p.m. curfew out, and I was listening to the Denver radio. I can get it out here in Kansas. And they were talking about, people being out after the curfew last night and stuff, which I think a curfew is unconstitutional anyway. But we're getting pepper sprayed, and people are getting arrested, and, cases of injuries and stuff, looting, rioting. And it's so ridiculous to me. How does that prove anything? It's not going to help anything. No matter what side of the fence you're on, it's absolutely insane. So, I know the officer who committed the murder has been fired. All officers who participated or were there for it have been fired. And the officer who did the murder himself was arrested and is facing murder charges, which is good. But here's my question is, because George Floyd was black, this is of course blown up and made into a huge deal. Whereas if George Floyd would have been white, there would be absolutely no protests. It wouldn't have made mainstream news. It might have been on the nightly news, for a few nights, maybe in Minnesota. Maybe a couple stations might have carried it for one night. But since he was black, it's all just completely getting blown, I don't want to say blown out of proportion, but getting way more attention, and all the social justice warriors are out because he was black. So every year, more white people are killed by the police than black or brown people or any other group. And there is more white people, so maybe that makes sense, and I'll leave a link in the description box for that, those exact numbers and statistics if you want to see that, if you don't believe me. But is it not racist on the part of all these groups and on the mainstream media to be given all this coverage, even by the rioters? Whereas if he was white, no one would be out there. But since he was black, everyone's protesting and rioting. And how is that not racism? in a way, is that not the mainstream media trying to push their agenda of a completely racist America and trying to divide us all and keep us all, divide us even more than we already are right now? We're a pretty divided country in a lot of ways, and that just goes to help further push their agenda of dividing us. Where all white people are bad, white privilege, whatever. I'm sorry, I was born white. I didn't have a whole lot of control over that. But I'm not here to say racism doesn't exist. But I think we're at a point in the country in time, where racism is, the lowest it's ever been. I live in a very diverse area, a major suburb of Denver. And I've just always grown up around many groups, different ethnic groups and people, different colored people, it's all just nothing for me, I see everyone just the same, and I'm sure most people do anymore. Not everyone, of course. There's always bad apples in every group. But that's just kind of my thoughts. It's like this whole thing is just pushing the mainstream narrative of dividing our country even more, of getting us to turn on each other even more, and we just can't have that. So it's horrific what happened to him, and I hope this cop and anyone else who was there, who didn't stop this from happening, are brought to justice as they should be. But burning down our cities and looting and stealing from our neighbors in our communities, that solves absolutely nothing. It's just plain stupidity. That's all I really got for this one. Let me know what you guys think. Maybe I'm off base, but the whole thing just pisses me off. And so I just figured I'd do my Sunday thoughts on that. Share it with you guys. So thanks for watching as always. I appreciate each and every one of you. Again, congrats to the Main Man channel and N.E.PA Guntalk. And thanks for watching as always, you guys. God bless.